General Motors electric vehicle owners can soon access Tesla's vast network of electric vehicle fast chargers. Under an agreement announced Thursday, General Motors will adopt Tesla's North American charging plug standard and give GM electric vehicle buyers access to the Tesla Supercharger network. The agreement was announced by GM CEO Mary Barra and Tesla chief Elon Musk in a Twitter Spaces event. GM's move follows a similar decision by Ford to embrace Tesla's charging plug standard. And that means 3 of the top EV sellers in the North American market have now agreed on a standard for charging hardware. And here to talk to me is Lauren Fix, automotive expert for Car Coach Reports. Well, first of all, Lauren, thanks for joining me at the airport, it seems like. So I wanted to talk to you about GM and Tesla. Seems like investors are happy about the deal. Both companies' shares were up a bit in after-hours trading. What's your reaction hearing this?
This is actually good news. One of the things that always made Tesla very exciting to people was the fact that they had their own infrastructure, their own charging stations. And there's more of those even here in the Buffalo area. We don't have a lot of charging, but having Tesla fast chargers allowed people to buy their vehicles. But now with Jim Farley from Ford agreeing to work with Elon Musk and put that interface for their charging stations in all their new cars, that was huge for Ford. But now Mary Barra sat down with Elon Musk in Twitter Spaces, and they agreed to also use that interface, which means it sounds like we've come to an agreement on which interface to these electric charging stations are the one that's going to be the winner, sort of like Betamax and VHS, right? Remember those two? So in this case, this is the VHS version. It's what Elon Musk wants, and there'll have to be adapters for those people that don't have it. But this is actually really good news for all 3 brands, and you can see by the increase in stock price for Tesla.
Maybe elaborate how it's a win. You know, it seems like it's a win-win scenario for everybody. How is it a win for Tesla and the other companies?
Well, it's about charging. The car products are excellent. The biggest problem we have is infrastructure and charging. So if you can use the Tesla charging stations without charging at home, maybe charging at a mall or a grocery store, there is more Tesla chargers available to the masses in smaller cities like markets like I'm in, which is a very small market. But when you're in larger markets, it gives you options. If you go to a plaza and it's full or there's a couple that aren't working, there might be Tesla chargers there also, and it allows you faster charger, especially on vehicles that have that faster infrastructure charging.
It seems to me, as I understand it, GM was trying to develop its own charging standard before this. I mean, what happened? What do you think, what do you suspect is behind the change?
Well, I think there's a lot of pressure when Jim Farley made the first step to agree with Elon Musk for Tesla. GM had to follow. Otherwise, because they're constantly fighting between Ford and GM trying to get your dollars. But now what's going to happen, and this is going to be interesting, is now you'll see Hyundai and Kia and Honda and Toyota and Nissan. They're all going to be fighting, and all the German brands are going to come in. They're all going to want to use that Tesla infrastructure, which takes down one of the major factors for purchasing a Tesla was the fast charging and the chargers everywhere. Well, this is really going to change the situation for Tesla in the end, unless they build more charging stations and adopt that adapter across all of them. It's not going to be as much of a benefit to own a Tesla, but it will be a benefit to own the other brands.
So is this going to be a huge deal for consumers in the end?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think it's a big deal for consumers. There's nothing more frustrating than getting to a charging station and it doesn't work, but there's a Tesla charger next to it you can't use. Well, now you'll be able to use it. You can buy an adapter today to make it usable, but unfortunately it gives you level 2 charging. This will give you the fast charging that is the level 3 charging that consumers want, so they can get charged up quicker. It's still not as fast as pumping gas, but it's certainly going to give some more options to consumers.
Do you think this will eventually accelerate adoption of EVs? Will it have impact?
I don't think it's going to accelerate the adoption of EVs, even though I know the government's pushing really hard. There's a lot of people are showing a lot of concerns. There's been a lot of negative news and a lot of true costs when you look into owning one. But what it will do is those people that do purchase an electric vehicle will get the benefit of having more places to charge rather than just at home.
So at the end of the day, it's all about convenience.
It absolutely is. It's got to be about charging, and until charging gets much quicker, basically it takes 8 minutes to fill up a tank of gas. Until it gets down to that 8 to 10 minute range, consumers are still questioning whether it's going to work for them. And some people, in my case, it doesn't work. I live far out and I prefer to have a gasoline powered vehicle, but there should be options. There should be hybrids, there should be gasoline, there should be plug-in hybrids and electric vehicles. Consumers make the choice, and they should, as in any free market, make the final decisions on what sells and what doesn't.
Well, all right. Thank you so much today, Lauren, at the airport, of all places. Pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you.
Now, Tesla, GM, and Ford together account for about 70% of current U.S. EV sales. Industry executives see different EV charging connectors as a barrier to wider consumer adoption of electric vehicles.